Okay, that should be going there in just a moment. As soon as that does, we will dive right in and share my screen. And for those of you guys that are just entering, go ahead and mute yourselves. That would be great. All right, we are live. Okay, that should be going there in just a moment. As soon as that does, we will dive right in. And I'll mute myself so we don't hear me twice, because it's bad enough hearing me once, right, friends? All right, so we've got a bunch of you on. You will note, you will probably hear the jets in the background that are doing the their training. Their practice day for the Air and Water Show tomorrow and Sunday. So looking forward to that, but it's going to be a little distracting to me. You guys know I'm ADD, so we will try to get through this on time and answer questions. If you do have a question, we're going to try something new. If you do have a question, you can text it to my WiseAgent code, my WiseAgent marketing and events hotline, because then that way you are not in the sea of mess on this awful phone or in trying to get through on this chat that is hard to see sometimes when you are the host of something. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat. You guys are welcome to, if you are on YouTube, use this number later too, is 815-542-3781. What does that spell? That spells 815-LIBERT1. So I played around with them enough that I have a different marketing number that goes to my phone with that 542-3781, and then the 815 number, because of course we're in Will County and some of those southern counties now, so I'm going to be doing some marketing down there as well. We can talk about Wise Text another day. What we are talking about today, though, is your WiseAgent newsletter. We have a rich history at our office of doing a monthly newsletter as just an absolute baseline of trying to get out there in the community and providing value. And of course, what we do to really bolster that value, which is so unique to us, is every month we have an event of the month. Now, this month it is our consumer education series. We really went back to how to open up more doors for people. And we wanted to do the zero money down doctor, dentist, veterinarian loan, because if you've heard that described as a doctor loan, you know that actually there's a lot more to it now, because obviously they've expanded the program. So it is a live and a hybrid event. We're super excited about it. Our friends at Huntington Bank that do this loan product so well are having us in North Barrington. We're going up on the North Shore in those northwest suburbs frequently over the next 2 months, hint, hint. And if you wanted to register for that, for your consumers and you as a exit strategy agent, you have that event code right there. There will be a separate event code that I'll be sending out for realtors that are not at Exit Strategy if they have interest in listing online. We will have enough room in that room for our VIPs, our consumers, and some of you, because it is a conference room, a big conference room in the bank. We're going to have appetizers, some fun libations with Libert and with you, and we'll have a really good time, but it will be recorded and simulcast on YouTube on the channel. So then that way, anybody that missed it, they can share it later or learn about it themselves later. So I'm really excited about that next Thursday night. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off because I am having a little hard time with this lighting in here today. I messed with my lighting on my little smart lights and I just don't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off. Since all of you have your cameras off, we're going to get you with cameras on here someday, not today. I won't make you do that today. For those of you that are experienced at Exit Strategy and come to a lot of our stuff, you're going to be looking at this going, whoa, wait a second, Nick's, that's not Nick's WiseAgent account. We are in WiseAgent today. And what I did over the last 2 weeks, so I've really this summer taken a lot of time to refocus on making sure that I haven't missed anything in our living list. You guys know those living lists that are out. We walk you through everything that you need to do. Marky is going to bolster what I'm doing with a separate series about, some very hands-on things in totally different aspects of the business, and let me kind of focus in the areas that I really love. And the database has always been what I'm passionate about, because to take you guys back a minute, that I really felt back when I started in the business. I didn't have a database. I was 20 years old. Most of my friends were out getting drunk or, doing other stuff beside maybe going to college, maybe not. And really, I didn't have anybody around my age that was buying real estate. So I had to create an audience. And I was not smart enough at the time and wasn't coached by the right people to really build a value proposition, that database. I'd spray and pray. And I spent a lot of money spraying and praying. So even though my numbers started to get good, my profit and loss was not very good. And my numbers were never very consistent either. So you have to excuse me, I put tooth whitener on before I did this because I'm doing a video after this that I'm going to show you guys. So my mouth is so weird. This is why I wanted to turn my video off, but I can't not at least look at you. So the newsletter, it's a little different in WiseAgent. And what I really loved about WiseAgent was that one of the many things it does, it has a newsletter in Spanish, because that is such a key population and a group of our database that I believe deserves a newsletter, and that I feel like a lot of people that get a newsletter that's not in their native language or the language they prefer to read a newsletter in, it's kind of like, okay, well, didn't you know that, I prefer this, not that. I'd like to be educated too. And we really have great vendors that are Spanish speaking and some wonderful agents that are Spanish speaking. Why don't we have a newsletter that's Spanish speaking? Our previous CRM company just wasn't going to put the effort in. So this was one of the things that I really liked about WiseAgent. They also have a Canadian version. I know there's a little dialect there. I'm not sure if you have Canadian people in your database. We do have people listening from Canada today. And as I said to you guys at Exit Strategy this morning in my email to you, my daily dose, they WiseAgent, the staff, is not only incredible, they're watching these to make sure what questions they can anticipate from you guys, because you are really becoming a very dedicated audience to WiseAgent. So, and they're, of course, they've won so many awards, including Forbes CRM of the Year for 2022. The email newsletter, again, is the baseline. If you can't get this newsletter out to your database, I really have concerns about what else you should be working on. Because what that signals to me is you either don't have the database, you don't have it set up, or you haven't taken the time to organize it. One of the very exciting things I did find out, though, for those of you that have a database, but it's a mess, we're going to work on that. I'm working and coaching some of you one-on-one. I have more coaching hours set up than ever before. And that's exciting because I think you guys are seeing not only the value of coaching, but seeing results from it and are more passionate about your business. It's a time to be refocused in the business. Even if your database is a mess and it's not grouped right, as long as you have email addresses, get this, as long as you have email addresses, it will be able to send out the newsletter. They don't even have to be grouped. I kind of cringed when the WiseAgent team told me that, and they were excited by that. And I said, well, I want them to have to group them, because otherwise, how can you do wise text and things like that? And they said, yeah, but we get it. That's the right way to do it. But best practices doesn't always mean that it gets executed. I'm like, you're right. I always tell you guys, don't wait, don't make it perfect before you send something out. Just send it out, because I want you to have that touch, that valuable touch to your database. Well, WiseAgent's on the same page. I just didn't realize that. And unlike our previous CRM, you can send it out to everybody. And I'm going to show you how to do that today, even though I'm kind of cringing even thinking of that. But what I loved about the email newsletter, and by the way, if you are in your WiseAgent now, you will probably, again, notice that mine is a different color than usual. Where is my orange face at the top? I went back and started an entire, because I have, as the account holder paying for it for Exit Strategy agents, secretly I have 2 seats. And I took the second seat to start again from the beginning, because not only am I going back for really to make sure I didn't miss anything for you guys, I want to experience it again with you. Now, that doesn't mean I'm taking the real estate pre-licensing classes again, and I'm definitely going to skip a few of the years that I was broke, but I would absolutely love to make sure that I'm not missing stuff. Like, for example, in this CRM product, they allow you to send out the email newsletter to everybody, whether you've got them grouped or not. So when I did that, I came back and I started this whole new account, a second one, didn't sync it up to anything else yet. I'm just learning as if I was brand new. And I got to tell you, I learned a few things. And one of which was you can get the newsletter out super quickly with a couple things. So let's go ahead and get to it. I've talked for 10 minutes without ever showing you a piece of the newsletter. Shame on me. In your WiseAgent account, the minute you get it set up. And by the way, if you don't have it set up yet and you are an exit strategy agent, send me a text to that nice little super fun and easy number, 815-542-3781, 815-LIBERT1. And another day, I'll show you how to get those Wise text numbers. That is not today. Once you set up that account, it takes 5 minutes. The WiseAgent staff will call you from an Arizona phone number, by the way, a 480 phone number. That is not spam. That's your support team trying to help you. Diane, if you're listening, thank you for the late night. People are going to think Diane and I are having a inappropriate relationship because it is inappropriate how many times I bother her after the hours of 9 p.m. I mean, until 1, 2 in the morning. Then there's another lady that takes over, and they have helped me so much. And so if you're struggling to even get logged in or need to know first steps, they will help you. I dove right into contacts, which we'll talk again a second time today about in the private coaching blog. And that is because for those of you out there listening later on YouTube, bless you, there's just some stuff we are not going to share with you today because we don't want to bore you. And it's some internal stuff that's pretty, it took me a long time to learn, and I'm going to save some of the best for my agents that coach with me. So in the marketing campaign, or in the marketing tab, the drop-down menu, there's the newsletters button. And I already clicked it once, but here it is again. And you can do a print newsletter. Who's printing paper out? Now, you can go run up copies at our office. You know, we have color copies for you for free. We never charge you for anything. But who are you going to hand them out to? Maybe in an open house, print 5, please, not 105. But I think that there's a better way to do it. And in general, most of us, we're going to email that newsletter out. And so I'm going to assume for today, you're going to do the English one to start. Maybe you're going to do the Spanish one to start, because I am not very good at Spanish. Like I speak un poco, if that. I think we're going to stick with English for me today. So you click on the newsletter and it opens up what designations you have. Now, I don't necessarily love this screen. For those of you guys that are listening from WiseAgent, I love education. I do have several of these, but it doesn't necessarily mean that my agents or the clients really are going to relate to any of this, because it's alphabet soup. So I would say, yes, guys, you're all realtors, check off realtor. And then I'm just going to check off the rest of the stuff that I have. I think that's it. Oh, they only let me choose 3. I want 4. I want 5, 6. I have more than this. And then you're going to click continue. Oh, select, don't click select different newsletter. Click continue. And then every month has a different theme to it. Every month has a different theme to it. And you don't have to choose this month. Now, right away, visually, I was repelled by the font, not the background. I love a sunset. Those of you guys that know me well, I hate that background. So what do? Get rid of it. You touch it, you hit it with your mouse, and you delete it. You can put anything in its place or just leave your photo, which obviously, because this is my second account that I'm literally restarting over so I can show you guys from the top, your picture automatically goes there once you have put it in your profile. So then it's got a nice little quote. I don't have any problem with the quote, but they've got some non-realtor stuff like a recipe. You may like that. That depends on who you think your database is. I actually probably could lighten up a little bit with my database because it's all real estate. And then they do have a real estate related article. You don't have to use this month. So if you don't like these articles, go back and look at a different month, because it said August at the top. In my mind, that's the August newsletter. In reality, whatever newsletter you want to choose, you can choose and just make sure it doesn't say August in it anymore. So that is, or whatever month it said it was. So all these selected templates, this was a really cool thing for me, is that you've got the ability then to select any template you need. So then you can do the newsletter title. Now, remember, you can just shoot this thing out as is, which I kind of cringe thinking that, or you can do something special. And I think you should do something special. We've done half of the special for you. What have we done? We have the event of the month every month for you. You have in your inbox from me the graphic and all the usual details on the live hybrid event next Thursday. Some of you had already been using the invites and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and add that picture in here, because right here, if you can see where my cursor is, see there's the option to add a picture or a video. Oh, we're back to video. This should sound very familiar to those of you guys that have been here a long time. This should be very familiar to you, because this is similar to what any decent CRM will do. What this does on top of it later is, of course, the juice. But I'm going to go ahead and you have really two options to easily, at the top of your newsletter, put a graphic or a video. I do kind of like that quote. It's cool. And then you would have this natural transition period here where you can make that a little bigger and then put in the graphic or the video of your choice. Now, let me get a graphic out. It's the same one that I sent to you guys. And see where it says browse server. That's where you're going to upload one. You're going to upload one. So since this is we're going to call it my alt account. There is the consumer education series flyer, the same one you guys have. We're going to close that. There we go. And it's in there twice because I did it twice. I'm not very patient, as some of you know. I try. But it is this is a web-based system, a cloud-based system. Give it a second. If it says it's uploading, you don't see it, it sometimes will be there. Now it's there twice. Doesn't matter. You have tons of room for these things. So you will notice any regular graphic that Amanda will do or something like that is probably going to be a little bit bigger on here. Here's the cool thing is, it just needs to be a width of, this is where I've been learning the last few days with them, 650. 650, and then it will automatically resize it. So that 650 width makes it exactly to the edges. Because remember, this is a hybrid newsletter, just like we have these hybrid events. The hybrid newsletter needs to look good both for a desktop and a cell phone, because it is a mobile world. We know more than half of these are going to be read on a phone. And that goes for a video too. So anything you want, of course, as always, we have the registration info, so you don't have to do a hyperlink. We haven't done hyperlinks in over a year, guys, because we have those awesome text codes. Those text codes are, of course, live. You can just text it right now if you want to. You'll get a link to that latest event. And then, of course, you can see all the other cool past events. If you click on past, you'll see, I think it's 67 or 68 past events that Exit Strategy has done for consumers all over cities, suburbs, health, wellness, charity, community, personal finance, and of course, real estate. So I'm really proud of that. So there's that graphic. And then of course you can add text. This is just like using Microsoft Word or Microsoft Publisher. I'm too old to know what the newer ones are. Adobe, I don't know. I'm old, but that's the basics. Obviously, you will hopefully have your picture in here. This is just my burner account, so to speak, for now. But I did want to walk myself all the way back to the beginning. Like, okay, if I start over, could I figure this out? Quite frankly, I did. But I play in tech a lot. You know, I'm kind of a dork with this CRM stuff. I tested almost every CRM out there to pick this one. Luckily, Forbes agreed with me it was the best one. But I really believe that you can do this. But if you don't spend the time, you don't know to even call the help desk. And really just email support@wiseagent.com and 24 hours a day. I mean, I can show you the date stamps on some of the back and forth I've done with them. I've just been blown away. Best CRM out there. All right. So what if you want to do a video instead? There is a tweak to the video versus what those of us that have used videos in a prior inferior CRM would do. So I'm going to delete this graphic. You can have both a graphic and a video. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to go add a YouTube video. If you really talk to me a lot, you know that I was like, I can't figure out the videos. And I was so mad. Well, guess what? The video, all you need to do on that is go to your YouTube video that you want to choose. So remember, it's YouTube. You've got to have a video from YouTube. I have on my channel, by the way, which feel free to, there we are, broadcasting live. That's creepy. I've got playlists, and one of the playlists that you guys can copy from if you want to do a video, but is the consumers. I have the monthly real estate consumer update, and I have so many of those videos, but I'm just going to choose one of those today. And these are, I mean, I've done these all around my house. I've done them at the offices. I've done them out in the field. I'm going to do them on the boat one day. So you don't share. This is where I went wrong. This is a new technique. So this is the old technique where we were also used to clicking the share button. It doesn't, they don't want to share. They want the player mode up here because the share is a dead link. It's not a dead link, it's a link. They want this thing to pop out right in your newsletter. That's how smart these guys are. So that's a change. So again, let me show you, before the Blue Angels get me, let me show you the way to do this. You cut and paste that link from your browser, and then you're going to go in to edit the newsletter. And when it was a hint when they say paste full YouTube video URL. Well, to me, that's the share. I know it all, right? Nope, didn't know it all. But they had to help me on that. So there, and now here's the really cool thing. If you want to be super lazy, which I don't necessarily want you to, but it's an option. You put the title of your video would be, so for example, I'm going to do mine later today following this guideline. The title of your video would be, come join me at our consumer event of the month about zero money down loans for doctors, dentists, etc. However you want to phrase it. That headline of your video. So I want to show you what I mean. See where it says Exit Strategy Realty Holiday Toy Drive? Now, being lazy, Nick Liebert, did not put any description in there. If I had a description, so that's where I would say text exit, exit strategy events to 85377 to register. Looking forward to seeing you there. If you want to talk about the logistics of it, you could put that in the description of the video when you upload the video. And guess what? It would be right down at the bottom, which means you're not even typing in here anymore. You would just really, if you wanted to make that, so see where I've got that, the title has turned into the headline. Imagine that. And then the description, the details are going to be the description below the video. I mean, WiseAgent, kudos on that. I would have never, I don't know anything about this stuff, so I would have had no idea how to do that. The consumer couldn't do that in the newsletter, or you guys couldn't do that in newsletter before. So you can play with the fonts and all that good stuff, but I would honestly just realign it and make sure it looks decent. For those of you guys that love changing fonts, you can have fun. There's lots of them. Some of you didn't like some of the previous fonts in the old CRM I paid for. Good news. That was one of the things I brought up when I was on my little listening tour before coming to this CRM. I really like this. And then obviously when I send it out, it will have the video right in their phone. It's embedded, which before was like kind of embedded. This is a better embedding. So the title, of course, remember you want the title to be changed to, now you could keep it seller's disclosures if that's the topic. I am going to have mine's going to say you're invited. Maybe mine is know a doctor, dentist, or vet. Share this zero money down mortgage loan program. That actually might be a good headline for the video, because some of my database are going to be like, well, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dentist, but you want to say, hey, this is for anybody that you want to share this with. What about with your doctor? You like your doctor, you want him to be well, successful. Here's a great thing, because these loans, what I thought was so special. So I've closed several of these loans for doctors of various types. And I think now we've got one vet we're doing one for. I don't know why, because I don't have I have a dentist. I don't have a pet, but somehow I know a vet. Good. It's a good database, I guess. This would be a great program. This would also be wonderful for you to share on your social media. So, and we're going to talk about in the private coaching blog, we're going to talk about LinkedIn after this public session here. So just remember that, guys. So at this point, that's it. That was all you needed to do, except do what? Save the newsletter. Do you remember in the prior CRM, which shall not be mentioned, how many times you forgot, sometimes me, once in a while, forgot one of the 3 different places you had to save it and go back between screens? This doesn't do any of that stuff. So at that point, you can exit the newsletter, haha, pun intended, exit the newsletter. If you did want to do any crazy stuff with links and stuff, you can do it in here. I get nervous with links with some people because they're not as tech savvy as they think they are. So that's why we use the text codes for all of our stuff. And obviously, if you are using our Eventbrite, the link to our Eventbrite, it asks who invited you. So we have a record of everybody so we can get you their contact information if you don't know who in your database registered for this. All right. So at that point, you have cool options. You can get a link to this. So if you want to share this now see right there, because I messed with that font, I have to go back in and clean that font up. But everything else is spaced out right that I didn't touch. Funny how that works. Everything I didn't touch looks great. So I want to go back in there and fix that. But you can do so you can do it on your social media instantly. So that newsletter is all over. You can do a PDF and you can email it. Now, here is where we got into a little internal debate, my loves. Who said some famous reality stars that have my loves to people that like argue with her. We had a debate about, is it good or bad that our CRM doesn't have a automatic date it sends it out, a kill date, so to speak. Well, here was the problem for a lot of us that we were outgrowing the old CRM. WiseAgent, number one, can send up to, or will send up to 75,000 emails a month, 2,500 a day, and 2,500 texts a day. If you really want to go all out on texting, you can also send the link by text. That would blow their minds, along with maybe even the video. You've got unlimited potential because very few people have a database of more than 75,000 people, right? It just needs to be in groups or categories, they call it, of 2,500 or less in order to know, okay, well, I sent out my best friends today, then there's 12 of them, but then there's all the rest of the world that's 2,418 people that goes out tomorrow. Whatever you want, however you want to categorize people, make sure your categories are less than 2,500 people, because then it's just easy to, on a calendar, say, okay, if I had a massive database, hint, hint. So for those, a few of us that are working on some big things, if I had a massive database, then I'd say, okay, on Monday, A go out, and I have 1,307 people in A. B, the letter B goes out on Tuesday, or whatever category you have of massive things. For those of you thinking big, we've got people using certain data providers and doing some massive digging. Some of you are just one at a time getting things, doing the multi-channel campaign, which I love. You may not need that much, but you may need a different newsletter. I'll say this again. You may need a different newsletter for different people. There are really highly functioning agents, like in the core training, that's the coaching program I graduated from, that I'm in their maintenance program, that they do a different newsletter every week to a different audience, buyer audience, seller audience, past clients and VIPs audience, maybe even a vendor one. Just give you a hint, those are some of your categories, right? And a general one. So you've got all these different options. There's a newsletter blast once a month on the 10th of the month or whatever date it does. Yeah, either you missed something or you didn't, it was like, there's one chance. I don't like one chance. I want a variety of stuff, but this does mean you have to be a little accountable to yourself. And I can be I am your coach, but I can be your accountability partner on this, along with put it in the living list, put it in the accountability tab, that you need to be held accountable to get your newsletter out on this or that day. And, we do find out Fridays every Friday, and we have Money Mondays. We have all these other meetings. Eve has Ask Us Anything. We've got opportunities to be together, even if it's not on the boat and it's not fun. So we have those sessions coming up on the boat too. All this stuff. If you need a little accountability, let me know. Offline, I can absolutely help you. But online, get these suckers out. So let's do it. All right. I'm going to click on email. And I am going to go into a certain category. Now, again, it will open up all of, so see where it says subject, there's your subject line. If you want to do a placeholder, yes or no, that's all good. Newsletters, so that's obviously the newsletter that we are doing. And because that's the only one I've done in this new template here. And then, so there is the newsletter itself. And again, remember, I took out the top. So now there's my top. So that is the subject line, and that will come above the newsletter. So watch down below. There are, now you see, I have a lot of contacts in here because I'm doing something. I'm doing something to spread the word about all of our training and coaching. So I got a lot of people in here. I'm not going to be able to send it to all these people at once, but that is, if they're all ungrouped in a mess, you can do it all at once. You just click on that button right there that selects everyone up to 2,500. Now you'll note right now that it's only 250 clients per page. That number will change sometime soon because obviously you can send 2,500 a day. What that means though is that then you are going to have to click on that button 10 times. You're going to have to keep chart. That's why I really would prefer that you guys get everybody into groups or categories. Please tell me that I didn't send that yet. Like, oh no, I didn't want to do that. So then you're going to do the by category would be easier. So look, oh, there's you guys. I could spam all of you today, but I won't. So again, that clients per page is just you guys now.
Nick, can I just make a mention? If you don't have them in categories, you can do it by alphabet.
Yes, yes. So if I see A, B, C, D, that's a great point. Thank you, Lana.
That's how I do. That's how I do the text. That's how I do the text messages, because you can only do so many.
Yes, you can do 250 at a punch, but then you could do 2,500 total in a day. So you could do 250 and then you copy the message and do that again. Let's not talk about texting today, but Lana just gave you a huge nugget that if you want to just keep track, see where it says right here, it was right in front of me. I just didn't think to mention it because I didn't do it that way. Lana, thank you. Lana, by the way, she has one of the largest databases within Exit Strategy, and spent a lot of time with WiseAgent before really we even knew where to push you and what to tell you to do, in terms of where to do this stuff. She really was on the forefront of this and taught us a lot. So thank you, Lana. So yeah, you could do it by letter. Now I've got you guys up. I am not going to send, but I'm going to click on it as if I was, and there all you wonderful people are. And then you click on send. All right, send. So 250 people at once, you've got up to 2,500 in a day. And this records per page, Lana, again, I think you were one of the people with feedback on that, and so was I. I'm like, well, why can't it be more than that? It's going to go, that records per page very soon. Their programmers are changing it so you can have a larger number sent out at once. They just want to make sure that we have the largest amount that actually go. And they call it spooling, that the spooling, if you do 5,000 all at once, or 2,500, which is your max a day, 2,500 all at once, if they all get sent out at the same time, the servers at a lot of these email companies recognize that as spam. So that is you can do 250, then go to the next screen. And like Lana said, it's a great idea if they're huge by alphabet. For me, because none of my lists are that big individually, I've got just going page one. Okay, great, page one, and then clicking on to page two and selecting all those people and pressing send. Lana, do you still have your hand up or no?
No, sorry.
Okay, so Tabrin, again, size of the image was 650 for the width. The length, believe it or not, doesn't matter. The length doesn't matter. Whatever length it came in at, so if it was 800, actually that giant one that I did was 1660. It was huge. Just that's because the size, that's a great resolution, size-wise. When I put in 650 as the width, it automatically proportionately changed the length so that it's not distorted. But 650 is the width for the newsletter, for any image. All right, got it. Good. Thank you. Good question. And it's something that I learned the wrong way. I was doing it the wrong way, and they taught me the right way. So that I want to actually check my notes before we move on, because that is not the only thing that I learned yesterday and the day before with them. I have so many notes. It's incredible lately. All right, there was part of it. There was the rest. There's some fun things coming that I can't tell you about today. 650 width for the newsletter we talked about. For the video or image, we talked about the 2 spaces you can put it in. Let me go back and show you those again, because I think Bill Bates is still on. Bill Bates and I are the ones that we learned in the old newsletter program. There were dead spots you couldn't put your newsletter in. And there are dead spots in this one too. So they have recommended spots that are the easiest. And I'm going to show those to you right now. So there is, I went back to the beginning. This is not the same newsletter. It's the August newsletter that we hated. So I'm going to go in it one more time. See that width is 650. That's just a repeat of Tabern's question. I hate that top, so I'm getting rid of it. Do not try to put anything up here above where your picture is, except if you want to do a graphic that's not about an event, like a header or something like that, you could. I would just leave that blank if I were you. I think your stuff at the top, and then the 2 best places are right up here above the quote, or more likely, I would bet you're going to keep that nice quote or have it a quotable of your own. And then, or delete the quote if you don't like it at all. But the great place where there's no formatting is right underneath that. So that's a nice, easy starting point. You can obviously take out the articles if you're not dog friendly, or not pineapple chicken friendly. I don't know. But I'm going to really, at the beginning, focus on, in my newsletter. And by the way, I think the cat's out of the bag. I'm doing a massive agent newsletter because I really want agents to see what we're doing as well. And there is there's a big piece of news that I'm going to end with. Let's see. The other place, so there we talked about that spot above the never give up, that quote. And really, I think below that is the best place, but either one would work. And technically, that's really the best place. There's another gap here between the recipe, but if you take that out, that gap will stay. Any place with it where you don't see any formatting and you've got a little cursor, you can add space. You don't have to add all the space. It'll automatically add any further space. And if it's a video, it seems like it'll size the video right. Any text, you can change the orientation of it and add it or edit it. You can do the, I think the justifying, right justification, left to, oh boy. It's been many years since I took a graphic design class, which is why you have Amanda. And if you do want a custom graphic, you can do that. One more thing on this, and then I'm going to announce something really cool. And then I'm going to let you go for about 10 minutes while I go to the restroom. And then we're going to reconvene in the Team Library Coaching blog. I think I need some lunch. Let's see here. So select a template. Check out some of these other things they've done. 3 tips to navigate a seller's market, a buyer's market, must-dos when selling with pets. Well, I don't have any pets, so I'm not using that one today. But don't your clients? 4 tips for summer lawn care. Well, that one's done. 4 tips for move with limited time. Just really cool stuff. And then, an archive of 8,000 old newsletters, which you can cut and paste things you like from in some of these. And then, of course, my newsletters are the ones you saved. So that is the newsletters. Not that bad, right, guys? Not that bad. The balance of what I'll talk to you about today is going to be relating to database and relating to LinkedIn. But that I want is a separate private office session because there's some amazing things I found out, as I alluded to this morning. But for everyone out there in the public, I want to give one piece. Don't anyone leave yet. I'll get you. I want to give you guys one really, really cool thing that I'm super excited about. I have not even been able to fully read this email yet, but I wanted to let you guys know. Let me open up my email. I got a little emotional when I first read this today. So you guys know Riz Media, and then every year they have the Power Broker directory. And we have slowly climbed in those rankings. And my dream was to get it like to a reasonable point. We are now, last year we were up 100. Last year we were in, I think, 1,139. I'm like, well, I'm not bragging. It was in the top 1.5% of brokerages. We are now ranked number 997 out of over 150,000 brokerages across the US. So we are in the top 1% for production, for everything, of all brokerages in the United States. So that is the Riz Media Power Broker. They will have all the graphics and the other good stuff out to us. But look at this number. This is actually the first time. I hope I don't get emotional. So this is really, really cool. We are up 34.4% versus last year, up 22.6%. And guys, look at this. You know, our sales rank and our transaction rank, they didn't tell me this, is 718 out of over 150,000 brokerages across the US and Canada. And look at the increases versus the competition. So it's not just that everybody had a better year. You did better than everybody else. So I'm really, really excited. And the more that we work in the tools and systems like WiseAgent, the better we will get together. So I'm going to take a time out. I will shoot you all an email shortly with the login instructions. I mean, it's the coaching blog you guys know about. But there's also going to be a update from our LinkedIn content provider. He may be able to be live with you as well shortly today. So I'm going to check in with him because he was talking about availability to do a session, all kinds of good stuff. Congratulations again to all of you, because you're the ones that did this. I'm so proud of you. And thank you to our amazing support staff that keep it all together for you. Have a great little bit while I have a lunch break. Thanks.